So thank you so much. Today, I'm going to talk about when God turns the tide. When God turns the tide. Have you ever felt like you're on a losing streak? Things are not going your way. Instead of victory, you're having defeat. It looks like all odds are against you. And instead of going forward, you're going backward. Instead of going up, you're going down. Well, this phrase, turning the tide, is an idiom that we use to describe when things turn around for you. When you go from losing to winning. When you go from down to up. When things change in your favor. When God turns the tide. I actually found a translation in Psalms 118 in the Message translation that quotes a verse that we generally use. In the King James Version, it says, God does valiantly. But in the Message translation, it says, God turns the tide. When I read that translation, I said, I love that translation. When God turns the tide, when God reverses things or changes things for you, when instead of being on a losing streak, you get on a winning streak. Instead of losing, instead of having defeat after defeat after defeat, you begin to have victory after victory after victory. So if anyone is watching me today, I want to believe, God, that if you have felt that something needs to shift and change your momentum, that God is about to turn the tide in your favor. What the enemy meant for evil, God is going to turn it around in your favor. We've been doing these 30 days of favor, and this is a great favor message. That favor will change, turn things away, turn things around, turn things in your favor. It will turn the tide for you. So I'm going to read Psalm 118, verses 5 through 16 from the Message translation. I love this translation. It is really, really amazing. Psalms 118, verses 5 through 16. And notice what it says. The psalmist says this: pushed to the wall, I called to God. From the wide open spaces, he answered. God's now at my side, and I'm not afraid. Who would dare lay a hand on me? God's my strong champion. I flick off my enemies like flies. Far better to take refuge in God than to trust in people. Far better to take refuge in God than trust in celebrities. Hemmed in by barbarians, in God's name I rub their faces in the dirt. Hemmed in and with no way out, in God's name I rub their faces in the dirt. Like swarming bees, like wild prairie fire, they hemmed me in. In God's name I rub their faces in the dirt. I was right on the cliff edge, ready to fall, when God grabbed my hand, grabbed and held me. God's my strength. He's also my song. And now he's my salvation. Hear the shouts, hear the triumph psalms in the camp of the saved. The hand of God, here it is. The hand of God has turned the tide. I like that. The hand of God has turned the tide. The hand of God has turned the tide. The hand of God is raised in victory. The hand of God has turned the tide. The hand of God has turned the tide. The hand of God is raised in victory. The hand of God has turned the tide. Now this means, this idiom, to turn the tide, means to change a situation, especially so that you begin to win instead of losing. I like that. To change a situation, especially so that you begin to win when you are instead of losing. Similarly, to turn the tide means to reverse a situation, as in the arrival of reinforcements that turn the tide in the battle. This idiom transfers the ebb and flow of the ocean's tide to human affairs. Many of you know a tide is when the ocean rises and then it recedes. it rises, and then it recedes. Sometimes we feel as if the waters rise, they flood our lives, but when the tide turns, they begin to recede. Those problems, those troubles, those setbacks, those things that have attacked you, even though it comes like a flood, when the enemy will come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. God is turning the tide for you. God is turning the tide in your situation. God is reversing things for you. Those who have felt overwhelmed by the floods, God is going to reverse that flood. And instead of it overwhelming you and flooding your life, it's going to reverse course and turn around. The term turn the tide means a reversal in a situation. How many of you watching me today, you need a reversal in your situation, whether it's your finances, your business, your ministry, whatever it is, you need a reversal in a situation. You need something to turn around in your favor. You need something to shift on your behalf. You need something to reverse. You need the tide, instead of rising against you, you need the tide to go back and to recede. So that's what it means when it says God is reversing the tide. That's the Message translation of Psalms 118, verses 15 and 16. The Message translation of Psalm 118, verses 15 and 16. A reversal in a situation, new and opposite flow to assist in getting over or moving forward, to carry forward with new momentum, to surmount a difficulty, obstacle. It means to survive. And so that's the word I want to release to you today, that no matter what your situation is, that God can turn the tide for you. God can turn the tide in your favor. So begin to confess that God will turn the tide. God will reverse this situation in my life. Instead of me going down, I'll come up. Instead of me being hemmed in, I'll break out. Instead of me going backward, I'll move forward. Instead of me losing, I'll have victory after victory after victory. Instead of trouble rising in my life, it will begin to recede. Just like the ebb and flow of the ocean's tide, God will turn the tide. He'll turn the battle. He'll turn the battle for you. He'll send the angels. He'll send the reinforcements, the things that you need that will turn the battle in your situation and turn the tide to your victory. That's what I mean when I say when God turns the tide. There have been situations in life when you feel as if everything is against you, but then all of a sudden there's a reversal, there's a shifting, there's a change, there's a turning. That's the reference to turning the tide. And again, look at the Message translation of Psalm 118, verses 15 and 16. It talks about God turning the tide. The King James says, the right hand of the Lord does valiantly. Or in the Message, the hand of the Lord turns the tide. So I'm going to pray today that God's hand will turn the tide in your situation, that the hand of the Lord will turn the tide in your situation, that there'll be a reversal in your fortunes, a reversal in your situation, a reversal in your business, your finances, your ministry, a reversal in your life, your family, whatever issue you feel as if the tide has been against you, the tide instead is going to turn. It's gonna ebb. There's an ebb and flow. There's a rising, but then there's a receding. And so instead of you being flooded, it's going to recede. That situation is going to recede in your life. That's my word for you today. I want you to believe it. I want you to receive it. And I want you to believe God. And again, if you feel that these messages are challenging you, changing you, releasing faith into you, I want you to partner with me, because one of the ways you can get the tide turned is through giving. 2 Corinthians 9:8, God is able to make all grace or favor. There is a favor that turns the tide. There is a favor that shifts things. There is a favor that causes you to go forward instead of going backward. and that is in the area of giving. 2 Corinthians 9:8, God is able to make all grace or favor abound toward you, that you having all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work.